It's 9 p.m. on the West Coast. That means it's time for all day. Thanks for checking it out. I'm Brett. That's Lofa. Plenty of NFL football to talk about and some Seahawk headlines. Welcome to the show. Lofa, as we begin the show, like we talked about on the preview, it's not without Southern California. I sit in Southern California right now. We were evacuated this week from our home. It was insane, but we're back now and everybody's safe. Thank goodness. And we're all okay, but I know there's plenty of people that aren't. So producer Katie has suggested that tonight a portion of your guys' super chats and proceeds go towards some donations and, helping some people out here. So I second that. I'm sure everybody agrees with that. So let's just kick it off tonight with the recognition of all that, but also some fun playoff football to talk about as well.
Absolutely. And you're right, brother. And if you have given, thank you. I appreciate you. And it means the world to us. And I know to the people that are in need right now. So,
yep, absolutely.
Thank you.
Hey, kicking it off, though, with the last game first, which is the Commies. Somebody said today to me, the Commies are playing tonight against the Bucks. The first time I'd heard that. Shout out to Bobby Wagner and friend of the show, Nick Ballore, who are members of the Washington Commanders. They take down the Buccaneers. An exciting game, 23-20. The doink heard around the world. They're moving on, though.
I mean, in true Commander fashion, I think that was their sixth comeback or game-winning victory when it just didn't look like it was going to be their night. And, people posting and, sending me the clip of Baker barely ran over Bobby. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get Bobby was expecting him to slide. All right. We've all been there before. And then he puts his shoulder down. So, I feel like there should be a personal foul, against the quarterbacks, right? Because every time we go to slide or go to hit them and they slide, we get the foul. But either way, I said he's got to get his revenge. And with the biggest play, he forced the or covered the fumble, and then they go in and score. And then I got to give Jaden Daniels. That's the story of the game to me, though. This kid, this is what I love about playoff football. You don't get to really see everybody play, right? You only get your market or a couple games outside of that. And this kid, I don't know how he's not up for MVP, right? Everyone wants to talk Lamar and, Josh Allen, rightfully so. It's only because he's a rookie they're not talking MVP, but this kid is their whole offense. And, yes. It was impressive to watch. He's their leading rusher again tonight. He was for the season by 100 yards, and he has Brian Robinson and Austin Eckler. It was incredible what this kid was able to do. And then in crunch time, go down and just drive him down the field. Field goal, game over.
I believe I called this one. I said Jaden Daniels will be on full display in front of the country. And there you go, everybody. It's bittersweet, though, for me with Wagner out there and Dan Quinn, and I think about what could have been, and I think about all the people saying I think Seahawks fans wish Bobby Wagner well. Of course, we love Bobby Wagner, but I think a lot of us thought, he's getting old and this and that. How much has he got left? Well, he's moving on to the second round of the playoffs, and we're in Cancun.
Yeah. No, partner, you're right. I mean, if Dan Quinn was here and you add Bobby Wagner, is that not worth another win or two, which puts you at clinching the West and in the playoffs here? You could play that game all day, pun intended. But just, I love the direction the Seahawks are going. I thought it was a strong statement by us, but I am very happy for Dan Quinn. It's always easier the second time, and this is why I believe, and we'll get to it, this is why Pete, I think, gets a fourth try at coaching because, Dan Quinn, he took Atlanta to the Super Bowl. Like you said last time, he had Tom Brady and the Patriots on the ropes, 28-3, end of the third. And, unfortunately, it just didn't go their way. But him and this team have found a way to believe and finish games. They just find a way, and it's different every time. That's what is so special about it. Is it doesn't just have to come down the offense. Sometimes it's special teams. Sometimes it's defense. Sometimes it's a Hail Mary that gets tipped. and lands in the guy's hands. But I do want to bring up one point. Our good friend John Langston, he finally got to see Terry McLaurin. I got a bunch of texts from Johnny today. He's like, I was not familiar with his game because when everyone wanted to put JSN in the top 5, I go, look, you still got Mike Evans, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, and then I dropped Terry McLaurin. Everybody, they called me a glazer. Now, I don't even know what that means, but I'm sure it's disrespectful. I'm pretty sure it's not a positive or a good thing. So,
it's a homer. It's just an updated term for a homer.
Okay, I'll take your word for
so
it.
Homer was extra soft on it.
But I mean, everybody got to see this kid play now, and he's been doing it for several years. And that I need to see, more of a sample size in terms of games played from JSN. But JSN is right there with these guys, so I'm excited about the future. And shout out to the Commanders, the Commies, and Dan Quinn.
Yeah, how did you guys feel about Bobby Wagner though when you watch him on TV and you see him playing in those other colors and you see him moving on to the second round of the playoffs? I mean, I asked everybody on the preview about Russ. Do you truly root for him? I mean, this is a safe space. Let's be honest. Are you really rooting for B-Wags as hard as you can? How do you feel about Baker and his playoff performance? Costly turnover there leads to them, the Commies winning the game there. Just bad fumble between him and Husky McMillan.
Yeah.
But what about Baker, though? I mean, a lot of Seahawks fans wanted him a few years ago.
Yeah, he's a good quarterback. And I think now that he's just focused on ball and not out there in every insurance commercial, right? I think he's found his rhythm, and he's with a team that they have elements to support him. A run game. They got 2 running backs, Bucky Irvin, Rashad White, Mike Evans. Even when you double him, this guy has 11. He's tied Jerry Rice, I think, with 11 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. And, he's had several quarterbacks throw to him, including Tom Brady, Jameis Winston, Baker, and several other guys that have started games for the Buccaneers over the course of his 11 years. So special talent. But I believe in Baker, and it's mostly just because of his story. We've talked about it, partner. Walk on, wins Heisman. Yeah, first overall, just goes to an organization that didn't really support him, right? And we've seen this with the Jets. We've seen this other team. So, yeah, I thought he looked solid, and the game plan was solid. It was a good balance. Big disparity in several of these games in terms of plays ran. I think this one was even 68 plays to 50 or something like that.
Commanders moving on over the Bucks. I think the Commanders are an exciting team, man. I mean, because they got a playmaker. So it's not they have been consistent. I mean, they're 12-5 for goodness sakes. But even if they're not going to be so consistent, they can make a play when they need to make a play on offense. And if they can they held the Bucks to 20 points. If they can be sort of not even world beaters on defense, they have the offense and they have a playmaker that can get it done when they need to get it done. The kicker at the end. Pucker time, my dad would call it. He goes, by the way, from I think it was the left hash, which I know is your thing, all the way to the right. What the heck? Why are you doinking it on the left hash off the right upright? What the hell?
Kickers, and today and yesterday, they've had a rough year. And actually, that was 2024. It's 2025, and it's carried over. It's brought right over to this year. So, I don't understand the mindset of, I want it on this hash. And then, okay, if you want on that hash, do not miss it all the way to the right. We put it over here because you're going to do some kind of kick that curves into the middle of the uprights. And no, you hit, but again, it just worked out for them. They have luck on their side, and you don't want to be in a close game with these guys. You don't want it coming down to the fourth quarter, and it doesn't matter whether it's their offense, their defense. These guys just find a way to win. And so I think they play Detroit next, and that's a matchup I can't wait to see.
Yo, I just think it's comical though when the TV crew has the shot of the kicker on the sideline warming up, and they got the clock counting down 5, 4, 3. The coach takes a timeout. The kicker gives that nod like, "I got this, boys." And the coach running it and damn near misses it.
Dude,
How many times?
Wait, Brett, did you see? After the game, after he made the kick, they went back, and I guess they had a camera on him the whole 3 minutes of that drive.
Yeah.
He was down there fiddling with his shoe. He took it off. He adjusted his sock. So there's just all that going on. Like, you should just be drilling it into the net and just visualizing it's going through. It's going through, right?
Right. Or visualizing your offense putting into the end zone and being cool as a cucumber because you don't think you're going out there anyway. Stop sweating, my man. Yeah. 23-20 for the Commanders over the Bucks. Green Bay and Philadelphia we got to get to, but let me tell you about our friends at Bet Online, who have been a great sponsor. All you guys are supporting them. They're supporting us. Use your mobile browser, that's what they call it, to go to betonline.ag or the mobile app available on any app store. It's Bet Online. Use our promo code
Believe, BLEAV.
That's the name of the podcast network. Believe, BLEAV, all caps. When you deposit your first deposit, you get a welcome bonus courtesy of us and Believe. So get on over there and use it for all of your sports. Bet Online, where the games, the Green Bay Packers.
Before we move on to the other game, should we read the comment related to the game we just finished?
Yeah, go for it.
I don't know. I just
go
didn't
for
really
it.
talk
Producer
about that,
Katie, what do you got?
Okay. Alina Dahl says, just think of Bobby in the other part of Washington, on the other part of the Hawks team with Dan. LOL. Seems a lot of other teams get our players.
Yeah, I know. It's tough to see your players succeeding in other places. Also, he looks badass with that visor. And it just, dude, how about, him coming through the run stuff a couple times? Like, he looks good.
The blitz, he just destroyed the running back. He still looks great. It's tough. I think the difference, though, because you asked about, like, how do you feel about Russ? It's just the way they left. Like, Bobby, he didn't want to leave. And I think that was what's toughest for us as fans, of him and the Hawks. And then it's better to see him in the Commanders jersey than the Rams, though. Let's agree with that one.
I agree 100%. Yeah. Actually, Katie, there's more comments about this game. Let's go to the next one.
Fucks with it. 42.
Yep.
Let's snag Vea. Good seeing another live vid.
Yep. Vita Vea, speaking of Washington Huskies, one of the best D tackles in the entire league for a couple of years now. How about he's an oos? Is he an oos? Am I allowed to say that? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
He just continually walks double teams back to the quarterback, and then the quarterback's like, "Oh my God, I got to get out of here," and then like a lot of guys are getting like freebies running around the corner, gimme sacks, like I just had to run around the edge because the quarterback's retreating away from Vita. That's when we say push the pocket. Push the pocket back, push the lineman back into the quarterback's face, obstruct the vision, get the hands in the air, and just get him off the mark. So he has to make a throw. Any throw on the run is, I don't care who you are and how accurate you are, it's not as good odds to make it as it is when you have firm feet planted firmly and then just stepping into the throw. So, he was a monster in the run game, in the pass game, just the pressure. And, he's a beast.
Guys, tell everybody that it's 9:00 on Sunday and that the guys from all day are on. Copy this link, paste it, send it to your friends. Let them know that some of the proceeds tonight are going to donate and help the so it all goes to good cause tonight. Copy the link, paste it, send it to your friends and family. The next one here is from Johnny. Katie, go for it.
Great to see you tonight, fellas. Scary Terry is the real deal.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Lamar and King Henry. They have to be a team to watch as we move through the playoffs, right?
Yeah, Johnny Langston, friend of the show, member of the family, one of the head seats at the table of the family here, checking in. Good to see you, Johnny. Go for it, Lofa. I mean, Terry McLaurin going off, but then also what Johnny brings up here with Henry, which is a different game, but
yeah,
I mean, Ravens look unstoppable.
Yeah, we'll get to it. Thanks for jumping in, Johnny. Appreciate you as always. Yeah, we'll get to it in length and in depth. But what are you supposed to do, man? Like they had one drive, and I know all the Hawks fans, this will drive you nuts. 13 straight runs for 80 yards and a touchdown, capped off by Henry. 13 straight runs. They didn't even think. Well, I think one was a design pass. I think one, just like, hey, maybe let's just try a pass. And then Lamar ran it anyways. So, like, in the end, it still goes down to 13 straight runs. And it just, if they get away from that, that's the only chance that somebody else has. Like if Lamar decides, no, I'm going to be a pocket passer and air it out. Not that he can't. Look that's why he's up for MVP, because he's got like 40 touchdowns and 4 picks. Like what he's been able to do is insane because he's getting single coverage out there. You have to load the box against Derrick Henry. Yeah. So, and we'll go into it when we get to their game too, because we're about to talk about that too.
Well, the next game up though is the Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles, which I thought this would be more of a game, to be honest with you. And it kind of was. It was one of those games that was like kind of a game for me because of the score.
Yeah.
But the game really felt like a game. Jordan, I don't know if he was really right. Roll over the Packers 22-10 ultimately and move on. And they look scary. And the Packers, who just rolled us up, didn't come across as scary as we thought they would in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, it's 3 interceptions, right? And I think they lost a fumble to start. That was even, worse to start the game like that. That's just like, oh God, this is how it starts. And don't forget the leading rusher. I know while we're praising Derrick Henry, the leading rusher is on the Philly Eagles with 2,000, and he didn't even play that last game. So it was the interception, overcoming that and still keeping it a 12-point game. I think that kind of points to, the head coach. See, I'm blanking on his name now. I could see his face. Always has his hair well kept.
Yeah, LaFleur.
Is it? It is LaFleur. Okay, because I knew you had a LaFleur. Yeah,
yeah, Matt.
Had a LaFleur down there. Yeah,
not Mike, Matt.
Yeah,
Matt. Name
Mike,
them all
Matt,
with the
thing. Yeah,
right.
But I think it was a great coaching job by him, and then the defense stepping up, to limit it to 22. Just 4 turnovers. That should be like a 40-10 game, or even worse. So good job by them, and just that they just didn't go to Jacobs enough. Like the guy averaged 4 yards a carry and he had 18 carries, but it's like, just keep feeding him. And it's only a 12-point game. The game was never out of hand, right? While it didn't feel as close as it was because the Eagles controlled the clock. The score didn't say like, hey, we got to air this out like some of the other games. So it was ugly for the Pack.
Yeah, this game I wanted it to be better. It wasn't great. I mean, I looked up at one point. I thought, score is close. Nah. Eagles had it the whole time. The Packers, they go home packing. And honestly, this game felt to me like the first round of the college playoffs, where it felt like not really even sure this one team even belongs there, but whatever.
A lot of the college playoffs have been like that, though. So.
Yeah, right. The next game up, Denver and Buffalo. This one went pretty much how we expected it to go. Buffalo rolled Denver. Bo Nix, PhD QB Bo Nix, 32-year-old rookie quarterback. But he made it in the playoffs, and so you got to give him some respect. But either way, they lose 31-7. This is the most lopsided victory of the weekend. And it pretty much went how we thought it would go, didn't it?
Yeah, it was close at half. And honestly, that's because of Sean Payton. And like talk about big onions, man, going for the fake punt, 15-yard pass by your punter in your own territory. But, Sean knew that if he didn't do stuff like this and, make, the tough decisions, it would have got way more out of hand. And, I think it was like 10-7 and a half or something. It was close. And so, I was really impressed with Josh Allen. I know his numbers weren't insane. Like they pulled away in the fourth quarter where he had one of his touchdowns. Mac Hollins, like not just a great follow on social media. Dude's hilarious, but he's a dog. And man, he goaded them into one of those penalties, which was huge. And then he got one because he was stepping over guys. It was awesome. But he's a character and he's a great player and he's just tough. That's what I love about him. He's tough. But Josh Allen, he didn't seem like the Josh Allen we've seen in the past where he was forcing things. He was letting the game kind of unfold and he picked his spots. He's going to have to use his legs more, kind of like I said about Lamar. And if he does, it just puts so much pressure on the defense. And keep in mind, this was, the number one scoring defense, I believe. So it wasn't going to be an easy day, even though it says 31-7. Like it was tight until the fourth quarters where they like really poured it on. But James Cook, this is a guy that I've been talking about and it's relieved a lot of pressure for Josh Allen by running so well. And I felt like they could have gave him a couple more carries, but who else? They had a couple other running backs that looked good. Ray Davis, I think he was the one that got knocked out, but he's a good, promising rookie. And then even they brought in their third string, and he was going off too. So,
well, how do you guys feel about the AFC? Because to me, it feels like it's the Bills and the Ravens on a collision course. I mean, I know we haven't seen Kansas City; they had the bye, but I don't know if I really believe in them with the squeakers they've been winning this year. How do you guys feel? What's it going to come down to in the AFC? What two teams and who do you see coming out of there? Impressive performance. James Cook, it's right there on the ticker, but shout out 23 carries, 120 and one touchdown. How about that stat line? Like just as a fan base that's craving a run game.
Yeah.
I'm jealous of that.
Almost every team. Well, except for Jaden Daniels. Like he did it himself. He had to lead them in rushing again, which he's done all season. Almost every other quarterback has a run game, right? And this is when I go back and talk about Geno, like he hasn't had that, right? And so you look at all these other, teams that are playing right now, they have an offensive line and a run game that they can lean on. And then the pass, it opens up the pass. So, that's really the difference of what we're seeing right now.
Yeah. Los Angeles Chargers, even though I'm going to call them San Diego till the day I die, they go down to the Houston Texans 32-12. Justin Herbert threw like 19 interceptions. Every time I looked up, the Texans are picking off the ball, which, I told you guys in the preview, I'm not a Harbaugh fan. I'm not a Herbert guy because he's a Duck. And the Chargers should be cursed because they moved out of San Diego. So honestly, I'm kind of laughing at them in this one. And but I don't really believe in the Texans. I'll tell you that. But they beat the Chargers and they move on.
Yeah, I got this one wrong. I picked the Chargers because of Harbaugh. Not really because of Herbert. I said Harbaugh, big game coaching experience, playoffs. I thought they would play it a little tighter than just throwing it all over the yard and not to their guys, to the other team. But shout out to the defense, of the Texans, DeMeco Ryans, a defensive head coach, and saying this is the brand of football we want to play. And this is who they were last year. They did get more help last year with Stroud and that passing attack and everything. But right now it's been more their defense that's been carrying them. So this is what you need to do. And Joe Mixon, they kept him bottled up for a lot of the game. And then, he broke loose for that last touchdown. And then the game just got out of hand. But the Chargers had a 6-0 lead to start. And it just went all downhill after that.
Yeah. Does the chat believe in the Texans? Does anyone believe in the Texans? Or is this just one playoff game and they're fodder for whoever they play next?
Well,
I'm watching the chat right now. I'm watching the comments.
This was my preseason. This was my preseason pick to go to the Super Bowl.
If you were watching right now, would you be commenting in? Oh, but they're gonna go all the way.
Yeah, I would say I was totally wrong. I would, because I see, and I'm not even. I think their next matchup is the Chiefs. I'm not even worried about the Chiefs. Like, I think they actually could win that game. The Ravens and the Bills, like whoever comes out of there. First of all, I don't think the NFC has a chance. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I don't think. Not even the Lions. I don't think they have a chance against this AFC. And I have a problem, kind of like everybody has a problem with the college seeding. NFL, just go to best record record overall. And, regardless of AFC, NFC, and then we'll get the best of the best. We'll get the best matchups like everybody's been clamoring for in college, right?
I see it. I see the chat too. People don't believe in them. Next game up, Pittsburgh. Rusty boy, he tried his best, but no match for the Baltimore Ravens. And Derrick Henry, how about this stat line? 186 rushing yards. You know they're going to handle the ball. Lofa, come on, man. Take us through this. You know the game plan.
First of all, I don't know how many times people are going to continue to go into a football game against Derrick Henry and not have a tackling plan. Right. You must get to his legs. And I'm not talking anything dirty, but you must get to his legs, avoid that stiff arm because everyone's just going up high. I don't know if it's their pride and their ego, but pride comes before the fall. And the fall is usually them on their back, on their nameplate with a stiff arm to the face. So just get him down. And it seems like, I will say, as easy as that sounds, the guy, he in year 11 or whatever he's in, he looks just as fast as he did the day he came out of college. And he's had so many handoffs since high school, like 300 carries since high school a year. And he just keeps going. He takes care of himself. And, so the young kids, I hope that you're following him and Bobby Wagner, these guys that are playing for 12, 13 years and are as physical as they are and still have their speed. They know something, right, about taking care of themselves. And so, but you're right, man. It's the same. It's like a broken record. Just Derrick Henry goes for 150, Derrick Henry 200 yards. Yeah. And then you got Lamar chimping in, dude. What are you supposed to do?
Well, and these teams that run the ball, like you just said a second ago, I mean, we're seeing success in the playoffs with teams that can run the ball. What was this narrative? And I'm asking the chat also, what was this narrative about running backs a few years ago and how you could get them and pretty much plug anybody in? And that's why the Giants got rid of Saquon. Look what he did. The Titans, they let go of Henry. Look what he's doing with the Baltimore Ravens. I mean, you need to be able to run the ball. We've been calling for it all year with our Seahawks. Look what's happening in the playoffs. The proof is in the pudding.
Man, there's only a couple teams that, it's like the Niners are one of them that I can think of that they just plug in anybody. Like McCaffrey, when he's in there, they're that much more explosive. Yeah. But he left. They brought in Jordan Mason, who a lot of people hadn't heard about, right? I think he was a 5th round pick from 2 years ago. He's top 5 in rushing for the first several weeks until he hurts his shoulder. Right. He goes out. Isaac Guerrero, a 3rd round pick this year from Louisville, goes in, and he has a couple 100-yard games. So it's unless you have the scheme, and Shanahan, I'm guessing he got it from his dad because Mike Shanahan did the same thing where he had Mike Anderson, Tatum Bell, Clinton Porter. Now that's not just anybody right there. So let me, stop right there. But he had 4 or 5 different guys consecutively have 1,000-yard seasons, and a couple of them weren't. Portis was a 1st round pick, rightfully so, but the rest were just, by committee, and they were all going for over 1,000 every year. And it's because the scheme was so great.
Who did you? What were the names you just said though? Real quick, Mike Anderson, was that one of them?
Mike Anderson.
Mike Anderson. Who else though?
I think Mike Bell, Tatum Bell. Tatum Bell's Oklahoma State. Mike Bell was Arizona.
And hold on, put up your umbrellas. I'm going to name drop. I believe I played in a charity bowling thing with Mike Anderson, the running back from the Denver Broncos. I'm pretty sure when Lofa just said his name. I don't know, years ago. I think it was Chris Paul's charity bowling thing, and Mike Anderson brought his own bowling ball.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
Mike Anderson was a bowling ball, first of all. That dude was strong as shit. Yeah.
How do you feel about a guy who brings his own bowling ball to a bowling tournament?
Well, you kind of
were you intimidated?
Well, that's the thing. You kind of look at him sideways first, like, "Whoa, nerd alert," you know. But then when they can ball and they like back it up, then you got to kind of give respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did he win the bowling tournament?
I don't know if he won the bowling tournament, but I remember like just thinking like after the first spin and like he does that. Whatever, it gets a strike. I was like, okay, like respect. He knows what he's doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But still nerd alert?
Pretty sure Mike Anderson. Could you pull up a picture? I'm pretty sure though. I don't want to be. I'm pretty sure though.
He break out the Roy Munson split after hitting the strike.
Also, Chris Paul can bowl. By the way, that's why he has a bowling tournament, because he's good at bowling.
That's hilarious.
Might as well go for it. You know, play to your strengths.
He's a Spur now. We like him.
Who's that? Chris Paul?
CP3.
He's still playing for the Spurs?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
He's like 87 years old.
Yeah, they needed an old
ageless.
That team is young.
Wow. Amazing. Good for him. Minnesota and the LA Rams. It's going to be in Arizona due to the fires, so there's no score yet. But it's going to be going off tomorrow night. I mean, lots to talk about in this game from just the two teams on the field, but also like changing venues and locations and whatever. Like, I find it interesting from a business standpoint. Does the Arizona Stadium have to give all the money from the concessions to the Rams? How does all this work when you just switch where the game is?
That's a good question. Right.
I don't know how the business of it works. Anyway, that doesn't matter.
I can't find any evidence of you in this bowling tournament with Mike Anderson.
What?
Well, I believe him if he was there.
Yeah, I was there.
Was Mike there?
Just look up if Mike Anderson likes.
That was the question. Yeah,
he could be on there somewhere. Anyway, intriguing matchup here, and it's intriguing because also the game, like I said, being played on the road, being played in Arizona. The one LA team is out. I'd like to say I hope this LA team stays in, but hell no, F them. Let's go Vikings. But are they going to do it? I mean, to me, this game is like a matchup of the Vikings, who are playing very well, but the Rams, who, because of McVay and Stafford, they're so savvy that I feel like they can, sneak this one out in the playoffs.
Yeah, there's going to be some creativity and innovation, a play they haven't released yet, and then they're just going to keep running it over and over and find success with it. But yeah, I mean, I love the graphic that Big Mike, shout out to Big Mike for the graphics all year, but I love he put Kyrie Williams on there, because I really feel like as much as Stafford, Nakua, Cup, all these guys, Higbee, all these big names and big money guys, this is the guy that's really been doing it consistently. I think he had 1,400 yards rushing this year. There's a lot of times they just leaned on him, especially when they had so many injuries at the receiver position. Nakua missed some time, Cup missed some time, and this guy's just been consistent. So it's going to come down to him, and then come down to if the Vikings remember that they actually have Aaron Jones as a tailback and Cam Akers, a former Ram. So because if you don't establish the run right away against the Rams, they have so many weapons that can rush the passer. Verse, Pro Bowler, rookie, Fisk, who is going to be a nightmare for years to come. Turner, Young, Johnson, they are deep at the D line. And, I really think they should just put in a call to AD. Be like, yo, come back for the playoffs. This is one last ride. Let's just go.
No, I don't want to see him. He's annoyed me for years. Ever since he put on his helmet to run into a fight, I've just thought
it's a smart move.
No, stop it. Stop it. The people put up that clip all the time on the internet. Like, look at this guy. He put on his helmet just to go like. Sorry, it's like they put it up with that sort of context, and it's like, no, like what? He came all the way off the bench, like just to start some shit, and made sure to put on his helmet on the way there.
Well, strategically, he took the pads off, so there's less surface area, nowhere to hold, grab, right? Yeah. Put the helmet on. I'm a fan of how he went through the thought process. He didn't just run out there, hey, let's fight, just hit with the helmet, and he's out, right?
Nah, this is the baseball player in me. Just run out there.
Like Nolan Ryan. Remember back in the day? Uppercutting that dude.
Yeah, that makes sense. That tracks.
Yeah. Football players are always punching each other with helmets on. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Aim for the gut.
It's time for the Q&A portion of the show, everybody. We still got some Seahawks headlines to talk about here because, they let go of Grubb, which we talked about on the preview. But if you guys got questions about that for Lofa or for this knucklehead, you can ask if you'd like. So put those in the comments. Also, headlines from around the league. Vrabel got hired. So, if you got questions about new coaching things, Pete is interviewing with places, all that kind of stuff. But either way, Q&A is open. Katie, what's first on the list?
Alina. So, Brett,
What?
is the new swear word kicker in your house over whiners? LOL. Lofa loved you being part of the video showing raising of the 12th flag. Awesome.
Yeah. You've gotten to do it twice.
I have.
That's so cool.
That, it was awesome, just for my kids to see it, really, and, hear the crowd again, but I didn't like losing. I had a perfect record. I was 5-0. Oh, no, 4-0. So now I'm 4-1. I need to raise it one more time so I could be 5-1, right? 51. Yeah.
Yeah.
That works for me.
But I'm just talking about when I give a pregame speech or something to a team.
I
my
see.
My record's got a blemish now.
Well,
thank you, Alina.
Hey, this year was up and down. We'll see what happens next year.
Thoughts on an OC for Hawks and DC for Huskies? Think Pete would like to be at the Huskies to work with the Sun? That's from Alina.
No, Pete's going to the NFL, Alina. I'm sorry about that. Pete, it will be an NFL head coach by the time next season rolls around. And the Huskies, honestly, I like the Belichick name at the Huskies, and I like the ponytail, and I like the fact that he looks identical to Jonah Hill. My God. Seriously, put up a side-by-side of the two of them. But other than that, I didn't like this Huskies defense, to be honest with you. So fine with him moving on. And as far as the Seahawks getting a new OC, whoever wants to run the ball and run it from a formation that makes sense to me is all I want.
Not shotgun every time?
No.
I don't know who they're going to get. Have they mentioned any candidates yet? Because I feel like McDonald, with all his connections, he's probably going to, tap into the Harbaugh network. And, he just came from Baltimore. I'm sure there's some guys over there that he knows and trusts. He has a rapport with them as far as they've coached over in Baltimore, and he'll probably give one of them an opportunity to run the show over here.
Yeah. What else you got, Katie? Langston?
Johnny Langston.
Yeah.
At one point in the game, Henry was averaging 9.1 per carry. This has been a common theme this playoffs. What is one thing your guys would like to see in Seattle address you guys would like to see Seattle address in the offseason?
Man, I just finally want an offensive line like Lofa had, even though it's on the other side of the ball, but just finally an offensive line that you can sort of count on and isn't the storyline. That's all I want.
I agree, partner. And I mean, it's always nice when you have 2 Hall of Famers, 3 Pro Bowlers, and then 2 other guys that should have made Pro Bowls,
right?
In Gray and Locklear.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we didn't even have to get creative back then. That was what the wildest thing was. I was like, they're running ISO, they're running off tackle. Nothing you could do about it. It's very, embarrassing, I'll say. And I think that's what we're seeing when they just sit back and hand it off to Henry. It's like everyone in that stadium knows who's getting it. It's
right.
Nothing you could do about it.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I think also too, and we've talked about this before, but shout out to Max Strong, because that it's also him, man. And then also, by the way, with beast mode, you got Robinson leading the way. You had guys leading the way, and you don't really have that now. You're running the ball out of these
unconventional formations that we're used to. You're not running out of like a strong formation, an I formation with a lead block.
Strong formation.
That's right. And or Robinson, shout out, converted quarterback, but just somebody leading the way with toughness.
Yeah. Hey man, brother. Like, they used to be called fullbacks. No one uses them anymore, right? No. San Fran does. Baltimore does. They got a 300-pounder named Pat Ricard that used to play defensive tackle at University of Maine. Shout out to the Black Bears. So it's just wild that no one like even does this anymore. Like they try to take a tight end that's never had to run the concepts of, hey, you got to read the front and you got to see the A or the B gap, and then on the run, like you might have to bend it back and get the most dangerous. Like that's why you need a fullback, and he plays special teams. So we'll see if that changes. That's a good point though, that no one ever talks about, that the fullback is a lost art.
Yeah, then we need him. We need him. Brady Russell, I'm looking at you. Put your hand in the ground.
You know, hurt somebody.
Oh, I know. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's get on the sled.
Alina Dahl. Brett, why are you calling out people who have their own bowling ball? Brett, why are you calling people who have their own bowling balls nerds? If so, I'm calling you a nerd for not liking the Goonies. Hey, you guys.
I'm calling people who have their own bowling balls nerds because they're nerds.
I have my own bowling ball.
Stop it. You
nerd.
do?
Marcus Trufant, all right, always had a bowling tournament, which is ironic because he can't bowl for shit. But it's a great tournament, and it raised a lot of money for, the community and families. Like the Trufants are, just some of the greatest human beings I've ever met. And but yeah, they made bowling balls for us. And what bowling ball I wanted, the one that Big Ern McCracken has with the rose in it. That's the one I want. I'm gonna find that one and buy it.
Listen, if somebody gives you your own custom bowling ball, or like you're in an event, I'll let it slide. Okay. If you have your own bowling ball out there, but you don't know how to score bowling, you must turn in your bowling ball.
Yeah,
that's actually a good rule. That's a good rule.
You know how to score it? Fine by me, and we'll let it slide. How about that?
Slide.
That's what I meant.
Steve, right?
Listen, I get the lightest ball I can find. I just chuck it as hard as I can.
No, that's not even.
And I look at the miles per hour on the screen.
Oh,
yes.
I try to set a record the whole time I'm there.
I'm with that.
Yeah, it's fun.
Alina Dahl. Lofa, have you used sage around the stadium? I think we've been jinxed since we let Unger go. We need you as a player to get rid of the bad juju.
I'm for it.
I would be happy to. Wait, what? What case?
1939, right?
Ah, yes.
1937. You're close. If I do that, I don't think they'll let me back in the stadium. But but you're right, Alina. I mean, we went 3-6. We went 3-6 at home. That's a problem, right? And for as much as we want to say, oh well, the crowd wasn't behind us, because the other teams, fans took over. There were still other games that they did. Like, okay, the only 3 games, the Giants had more fans than us. The Pack were chanting "Go Pack, Go." That's a problem. And the Bills, but that still leaves what? We were 3-6. Yeah, it still leaves 6 other games where we had opportunity, and it's just that Rams game that really bothers me, man.
Yeah,
overtime. We had so many chances. Chances.
No, it's the Giants one. Come on.
No.
Jones isn't even there anymore. That team's in shambles. They don't even know who their quarterback is. The front office is going to be fired. That's a team that you should have just waxed.
Well, I'm just because everybody else did doesn't mean we had to do it too. But, dude, Bridget Jones could have played quarterback that day with the way Tyrone Tracy Jr. was going off. All right, and her diary could have played quarterback. She could have read scripts with how much time he had to pass the ball back there.
Dude, that one kills me.
EpicSeats.com. Shout out. Let me get a live read in here. EpicSeats.com, Seattle company. If you want seats to anything, Kraken games. They're at Climate Pledge. Concerts at Climate Pledge. Let's see what else. There's
Cirque du Soleil.
Cirque du Soleil going on.
Are they? I don't know.
The Icecapades, is that a thing?
I'm in.
EpicSeats.com is where you go. Check them out for all of your seats needs, whether you're needing seats or selling seats. It's EpicSeats.com. Nobody beats
Epic Seats.
Epic Seats. Yeah, don't be seatless in Seattle.
Hey, how about also Delta? Go with the throw, 12status.com, everybody. Sign up for 12 status. You get 1 free mile for every yard that the Seahawks throw for with Delta 12 status. Sign up and start earning miles at 12status.com. Open to legal residents of Washington. Must be 18 years or older. Also, simplyseattle.com. Use our promo code.
All day.
At
All caps. All day.
For 15% off at simplyseattle.com, the best apparel merchandise in the Northwest.
Other than ours.
Well, yeah, that's true. Alldaybrand.co. Check it out. Buy a t-shirt, everybody. Alina Dahl jumping back in with some bowling comments over here. What she got?
Your own bowling ball means that you don't have to share it with lots of other people. I have my own, as my cousin gave it to me. Yeah, and it has a rose on it.
Yeah, I mean, okay, you got gifted that, so that's cool. And the fact that it has a rose makes it extra badass. But sharing the ball with other people and putting your feet in other people's shoes is part of the experience.
Oh, yeah, it's communal.
Oh, yeah. It's
That's
just
fine.
a cesspool of germs.
Fingers and toes shared everywhere.
Well, Lofa used to shower with a bunch of other dudes every once a week, twice a week.
That's true.
You know, that's fine.
Not
It's not
with
fun experience. Well, you know,
experience. You're sick. You want one sick puppy, Brett Davern.
you know, it's one big shower, isn't it?
Yeah, something about the bowling ball now. Really, just like, now that I'm going bowling with gloves from now on. And at least, with like shoes, you got socks, right?
Yeah, and I see this guy spray the shoes. You see him kind of give it a little whiff.
The high school
It does nothing. All right.
Stands there
That
with his
aerosol
bottle of
can.
Lysol.
Yeah.
It's all for looks.
Yeah.
So they look like they're keeping up.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I kind of like borrowing the shoes. Also, if you don't have a pair of bowling alley shoes in your closet, what are you doing?
Yeah, right. That was a style.
Yeah. You got to walk out with at least one pair in your life.
Yeah, you would bring the shittiest pair of shoes you had, and
That's
you
right.
would leave them. You would leave them at the counter and just walk out.
Yeah. We grew up at the same time.
I mean, yeah.
How else are you supposed to get a free pair of shoes?
Alina's back in the chat. First test for rookies and players transferring to the team, a car ride with Brett. If they don't throw up, they're good. And if they do, man, they are F.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You know what? That is a great idea.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's no roller coaster worse than that.
We could test their fortitude.
Yeah, we will. We're gonna have to. We're gonna have to load up on insurance and, maybe some life policies. But other than that, I think that's an awesome idea, actually.
Yeah, I'm down for that. Like, let me know, Seahawks. Give me a call. I'll take them out to a track and spin them around. That'd be fun.
Oh no, you got to take them in between the 90 and the 520 like you did with me. Just in between cars. Just
What's really scary is when you change lanes on the floating bridge, but those big fans are in the middle of the freeway, in the tunnel. You know those giant fans? Lofa knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
on I-90. Yeah. Who the hell decided to put giant fans in the middle of the freeway?
Maybe it was for the workers, right? They were thinking of them. But
it's scary.
No, what's really scary is when you really get into a conversation. You get really into the details, and you're like looking me right in the eye while driving 70 in a 50 mile per hour zone. And like, do you know what I'm saying? Partner, I know exactly what you're saying. Stop looking at me.
You gotta have a little fun in life, that's how it goes. All right. Well, the Rams are playing tomorrow night, and we'll see who moves on to next weekend. And we'll be back during the week to talk about it all. That's pretty much it for us tonight, unless you got more to add. There's is there college football in between, or is that after everything?
I think that's the following Monday.
Okay. We got some time on that then.
Yeah.
What about Vrabel? You want to touch on Vrabel before we get out of here?
Yeah. I think it's a good hire. I think it's pretty much Mayo, right? But with a little more experience under his belt in terms of just he was at the college level for several years with Urban Meyer. Then he was coordinator for the Texans, I believe, and then head coach. So just the whole process, I think, because the hardest thing to do for a first-time head coach, put a staff together. I know for a fact Gerard Mayo is one of the most intelligent players I've ever, talked football with, and it's just tough to delegate that responsibility, across the board, and just you have to be in on everything. So one day you're sitting with the offense, other day with special teams. Like I used to watch Pete, he would just bounce around and spend at least 10 minutes of every. And he probably asked all the coaches, like, hey, when are you going to cover this? Because this is what the point I want, hit on for your group specifically, right? And he didn't tell the coaches how to coach. He just said, hey, this is what I want to see. So let me know what time of your meeting. And so he would bounce in and out of it. Like it was incredible. And so those are the kind of things that you probably don't realize you need to do. Because I think Mayo's been coaching for 6 or 7 years now, but and I was just an assistant. So I'm sitting there just doing work, but I'm just watching Pete, like, what is he doing? And dude never stopped. But he had a bunch of guys he trusted.
To me, the Vrabel hire makes a lot of sense. I mean, he's an alum of the team and he's available, and whatever the reason it didn't work out with Mayo, I mean, whatever that is there, but Vrabel's out there and he's available, and he did a great job with the Titans when he was in there before. So it makes sense to me. I think Mayo should have gotten a little bit more of a shot, though. But there must be something behind the scenes, or maybe certain people didn't see eye to eye. Who the hell knows? I don't know. I think sometimes they just feel like it's the right time, quote unquote, whatever that means.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, we'll never get the full truth, but that does bring me up to Pete. In the news, my prediction, I think he's going to end up being with the Raiders. It's drastically different direction. Like when he goes in there, I know they've heard great things about him, right? But I know they're just going to be like wowed by the way he builds teams and how he's had success at every level. Yeah. And it's because it's drastically different than everything that they believe in as an organization. Like they were always like, hey, we're the big bad Raiders. We're tough. Well, shit, every team Pete coached was tough. And so he's just going to show them a different perspective. And I think they're going to be inclined to listen. But the biggest thing that tells me it's over there is they're going to let the next head coach be part of the search for a GM, because that relationship has to work or nothing works underneath it. Right. And so this is the same thing that the Hawks did when they hired Pete. He was part of the search for John, and it was an incredible relationship and run that they had.
Well, we'll see what happens there. Go ahead.
Alina Dahl, my brother takes the Kenworth trucks up to the track in Mount Vernon.
Oh,
by the way, Lofa, have you ever worn your helmet or pads while you're in your car? LOL.
Next time.
No, but I will with Brett. Thank you. Thank you for making me more aware of the situation. I'm even going to wear a visor for the first time. Never wore a visor in my life. Going to wear one. Thank you, Alina.
Good suggestion. Yeah. We love you guys. We thank you for tuning in tonight. We'll be back this week to preview the next weekend's upcoming games. And then we'll be back next Sunday live at 9 p.m. Tell your friends, copy and paste the link, send it to your friends and family. And we appreciate you guys joining the All Day Family. Join us on Instagram at All Day Family, or on Twitter. Is it Twitter? X. At All Day Pod. You can also find Lofa as well, popping off. Yeah. Say bye to the people, Lofa.
Bye to the people, Lofa. I love you guys. Appreciate y'all, fam. I'm a very literal person. You can't put me on the spot like that.